What's up, and welcome to the second installment of Ranking the Subclasses from Crooked Moon. This time it's a Druid Bonanza, and we have two distinct ways of playing to go over. So, without further ado, let's get stuck into the Circle of the Old Ways. Circle of the Old Ways Druids are flavoured around communing and harnessing the power of forgotten ancient entities of the darkest forests. The sort that cults would gush over. But these Druids pack a punch, morphing themselves with wood-woad-like features just to slam you from the top ropes with bark and fury. They're very much a gish, which I'm a massive fan of, I'll be honest. But let's go through their features and see if it's worth walking both paths of spellcaster and melee combatant. With the prepared spell list then, you get the following. Barkskin, Shield of Faith, Spike Growth, and Ancestral Communion, which is a new spell to the Crooked Moon book that provides a way of concentrating to give consistent rerolls. This level 3 list is great, and all the old spells on this list can definitely see a lot of play. The new one seems a little weak, as it can't target teammates, and any self-buff that falls off with concentration checks are always a pain in the ass to maintain. At level 5 you gain Magic Circle and Plant Growth, both just very skippable and situational spells. Level 7 you gain Freedom of Movement and Private Sanctum. Again, very mid. At level 9 you gain Awaken and Tree Stride, which are also not very good. Unless you have a very nice DM called Dan who lets you keep a tree man as a follower and a bodyguard from your Awaken spell. Thanks, Dan. Okay, so overall, level 3 is great. The rest is just hot garbage. Okay, well, let's hope the rest of the traits don't match that pattern. So, at level 3 you get Bough and Branch. When you cast Shillelagh, you gain a shield made of gnarled wood to grow out of your free hand. Additionally, for the duration of the spell, you ignore somatic components of your Druid spells, and the weapon enhanced by the spell becomes a Druid focus for you. This is very similar to how a Paladin spell focus works through their shield, and it's also a key part of the Warcaster feat, which is much needed when trying to make a Gish happen. Additionally, at level 3 you gain Woodwose. Woodwose? Try saying that 3 times while drunk. As bonus action, or as part of casting Shillelagh, you can expend a use of your wild shape to suffuse yourself with the power of the primordial woods, whatever that means. You gain the following benefits. Bark Bulwark. While you aren't wearing armor, your base armor class is 10 plus your dexterity plus wisdom. Oh shit, you get monk armor. Alright, I guess my multi-class build is down the pan. You also gain Elderwoods Sap. When you hit a creature with an attack roll using a weapon enhanced by Shillelagh, the target's coated in Elderwoods Sap until the start of your next turn. While coated, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you. And Oaken Resolve. You have advantage on strength and constitution saving throws. This effect lasts 10 minutes, and it ends early if you dismiss it, have the incapacitated condition, or die. Well, there's another part of the Warcaster feat covered. Advantage on con saves. Very nice. I don't think the sap stuff is too relevant, but I guess it's a way to ensure that your tanky character isn't just ignored, I suppose. My takeaway from this is the level 3 features add up to a bit more than the Warcaster feat plus monk armor. Two very, very nice things. And the flavour is just oozing. Like sap. Sorry. Anyway, it's worth mentioning that level 2 Druids choose either Warden or Magician. And this makes everything Warden does for you completely irrelevant. So I guess we're going to be buffing on magic and intelligence checks by choosing Magician instead. Also, you may have noticed this subclass is allergic to turning into animals. Absolutely nothing it does buffs anything you do while being an animal. Hey, it's just more flavourful to turn into a tree anyway. Why become a woodpecker when you can just become wood? At level 6, Oakenthorn. When you activate your Woodwose? Oh man, why you gotta do us dyslexics like that? When you do your level 3 thing, you can gain the following additional benefits for the duration. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. And Gnarled Thorns. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a melee attack roll using a weapon, the target takes an extra 1d6 piercing damage. Okay, so we hit hard and often. Sure, one level behind when fighters get it, but I mean, that's only fair. We can do magic, and they just failed second grade maths.
Stop! He's already dead!
This gives us more reasons than ever to not animorph. Although, not that I needed any after reading those books. Extra attack works very well with the topple feature of your quarterstaff, meaning your second one has advantage if they go prone, as well as Shillelagh's damage, which at this point is D10 force damage. Not bad for a one-handed weapon. It's worth mentioning at level 7 you gain access to some very powerful 4th level spells like Wall of Fire and Polymorph. But with this subclass, my preferred one is Fire Shield, for an extra heap of stop hitting yourself on a non-concentration spell. There is also this beast of a spell from the Crooked Moon book that can blind every creature of your choice, so no friendly fire. Well, unless your halfling rogue took all the loot one too many times. At level 10 you gain Deepwood Elder. When you activate your Wood Wos, there it is again, you now gain even bloody more additional benefits to the duration. Alright, Primeval Wrath. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with a melee attack, you can force the target to succeed a strength saving throw against your spell save DC or have the prone condition. Bramblebuck. When a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee attack, the target takes 1d8 piercing damage. They can only take this damage once per turn. Rampant Growth. A 2-mana green spell that lets you search for a basic land... Wait, no. Wrong game. When you activate Woodwose, and at the start of each of your subsequent dyslexia again. Good times. Subsequent turns, you gain the number of temporary hit points equal to your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Wait, so with Topple and Primeval Wrath, you can now make them make a strength and con saving throw, and if either one fails, they go prone for your second hit to have advantage. Okay, I actually kind of like that overlap. Bramblebuck is what I was going for earlier with the Fire Shield recommendation, but now you can stack them both, and neither cost a reaction or concentration or anything. Not much damage from either of these, but these things add up. Rampant Growth shoves it in your face. If you haven't got the idea yet, you are the tank! Clapping hands emoji. This is actually sick, and makes up for the Druid's low hit die value. And possibly low con, but we'll talk more about ability scores later. But wait! There's more! Ancient Protector at level 14. Say it with me. When you activate your Wood Wos, you now gain the additional benefits for the duration. Yes, all of the features have that. Old Growth. Your size increases to large and your reach increases by 5 feet. Mighty Trunk. You gain resistance to bludgeoning and piercing damage. Vengeance of the Elders. When a creature that is covered in Elderwood sap and is within your reach makes an attack roll, you can take a reaction to make a melee attack against that creature. Okay. Old Growth at this level is a little gimmicky, and I swear the Barbarian subclass that we covered can do that at level 3, but actually, now that I think about it, all of these features are coming a bit late to be relevant. An attack back is fine. The Druid doesn't have the best uses of reactions anyway, and I guess it's quite funny that you can topple them on their own turn. The resistances are better late than never, I suppose, and while they will come up, it's just not as often as you'd like. We're level 14, remember. I guess it's also worth noting that Shillelagh has gone up to D12, plus at level 7 you probably took Primal Strike, so you get an extra D8 on top of that. And it will soon be 2d6. It's really doing its best imitation of keeping up with magical weapons. Cool, so that's the subclass. So, now let's address the elephant-shaped tree in the room. You now have probably the single strongest cantrip in the game. Fight me, Eldritch Blast enjoyers. Buffing your combat skills and tankiness in God knows how many ways. And yet, I do think there's some pretty obvious downsides. The class asks you to have very high wisdom, dex, and con. But I actually think maybe it's better just to do a armored up low dex version, or even armorless low dex version, buffing your AC with spells like Shield of Faith or Barkskin. But not both, you cheating bastard. Doesn't stack like that. I love the flavour of this class and would personally play it over an actual martial class any day. Is it optimal? Not so much. But screw optimal. I'm going full tree bird on this mother. If anyone wants to stop me, please be my guest. Just don't let the thorns hit you on the way out. I'm ranking this S. Is it a very biased S? Yeah, it is. But this subclass is fun, focused, thematic, somewhat flexible. Although the base druid class is doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. It's like Avantris really tried their damned hardest to make Shillelagh work, and I applaud the effort. Getting what is essentially Warcaster at level 3 is very much needed for this Gish, and frees up a feat slot for something that makes you a little less squishy perhaps. Alright, tough act to follow. Let's see if Circle of the Wicker has what it takes. Circle of the Wicker is Wicker Man meets Blair Witch meets true pagan folklore. Effigies, dolls, banes, boons, the lot.
I put a spell on you.
Let's once again start with the spells, shall we? At level 3, prepare Bane, Bless, Zone of Truth, and Summer Winds. Now, before I cover the others, Summer Winds is a new spell to the Crooked Moon, and it's my self-professed favourite spell in the book. It's a 15-foot blast cone that heals allies and damages undead. You don't know true D&D pleasure until you've hit your whole party with a level 2 healing spell, or cosplayed as a cleric and nuked the entire group of strategically bunched up undead, or both at the same time. Okay, enough gushing. The other spells are decent enough here. Bless has combat use, and Zone of Truth is a hilarious way to ruin your DM's plans. It's like Speak with Dead for alive people. Oh, no. I think that's just called socializing. Anyway, at level 5 you get Bestow Curse and Tiny Hut. Yay, Tiny Hut! Except with this class it's more Witcher's Cabin, so I guess less comfy. At level 7 you gain Death Ward and another new spell, Sanctum of the Shepherd. This spell adds a way to burn unused level 4 spell slots at the end of the day, and waste 200 gold. And you get 1 AC on your whole team the next day. This is tricky to evaluate as it depends on how many encounters you're having per day, how much money you have to throw into spell ingredients, how often you're ending the day with a level 4 spell slot free. I don't think the AC is as good as it sounds, I'll be honest. If you do the math, it's just a 1 in 20 attack rolls against your party will miss because of it. A lot of attacks aren't even rolls, they're just saving throws. This is not great when you put it like that. Yeah, sad to say, I'm going to say this is bait and just move on. At level 9 you're getting Hold Monster, and another new spell called Lucky Charm. And no, it's not an American breakfast cereal with a racist stereotyped mascot. Instead, it's a very strange and potentially powerful effect. While another creature carries an object you cast a spell on for an hour, that creature has advantage on D20 tests, and you have disadvantage on D20 tests. I can see some insane uses for this. You want your rogue to go hustle some poor people out of their money? You sit tight. They have an hour of being the luckiest son of a gun there is. The combat uses are a bit more limited, but a creative player can definitely break this. So, just saying, as a DM, I'd be pretty terrified of what shenanigans some players would pull with this spell. Let me know in the comments if you can come up with anything better than my bar hustling idea. Okay. So, solid spell list overall. Level 7, a bit of a letdown. But, yeah, we are where we are. Which is a level 3 feature, starting off with Bewitched Effigy. Your primeval magic can manifest as a wicker effigy and radiate out from it. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 use of your wild shape to create a wicker effigy in an unoccupied space which you can see within 30 feet of yourself. This effigy is a small object that can be destroyed. The effigy vanishes after 1 minute or when you use this feature again. It radiates one of the following auras in a 30-foot emanation and produces dim light. When a creature in the aura takes damage, you can use your reaction to deal an extra 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier fire damage. Or, if you choose Soothe, when you create the effigy, and as a bonus action on your subsequent turns, one creature you can see within the aura regains 1d6 hit points. You can use this effigy to restore hit points a number of times equal to twice your spellcasting modifier. And the third option is Ward. You and your allies within the aura gain +1 bonus to AC. Oh, man, this book loves its wordy features, and I cut a lot of that down. Okay. So, we're like some kind of Warcraft shaman. We're chucking down aura totems. Totem. Giving us reaction damage buff, a bonus action, and extra time heal, or a passive +1 AC. Well, we talked about that, though. I think these are fine. Essentially multiple healing words, but at the cost of a wild shape. It's pretty good early game, especially when you don't have much else to do with a bonus action. A reaction damage buff is pretty handy. I think, once again, the +1 AC is just bait. If you're using this on your full health party and only touching them, just don't and save the wild shape. At level 3, we also get the Wicker token feature. You can weave Wicker tokens that carry a touch of your magic. When you finish a long rest, you can create a number of these tokens equal to your proficiency bonus. These tokens are tiny objects and can be destroyed. The tokens vanish when you finish your next long rest. You can cast spells with a range of touch on a creature that is carrying one of your tokens. Alright, so this gives us a good look into what this subclass is going for. A backline supportive spellcaster, using guidance, resistance, cure wounds, restoration, all the goodies. I don't think you should spec too hard into this, but these spells are given a new lease of life with this feature. Also, come to think of it, this makes our Death Ward from our spell list a dang sight better. I don't think anything can redeem that spell for me. Overall, level 3, looking fine. If a bit like a worse cleric or a bard. Level 6 then, let's see if we can add some juice. With Wicker Rising. The energy you channel through your Wicker effigy grows stronger, empowering its benefits. With Sacrifice, the fire damage increases to 2d8 plus your wisdom modifier. With Soothe, the healing of your effigy increases to 1d8, and when you target a creature with the effigy, you can expend 5 hit points from the effigy to remove one of the following conditions from the target: charmed, frightened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned. And with Ward, you choose a damage type other than force. You and your allies in the aura have resistance to the chosen type. Wow. Okay, now we're talking. The damage is whatever, and actually is kind of fallen off at this point. Especially compared to Soothe now cleansing effects, and Ward now resisting any damage of your choice. Look, unless you're going blind into a fight, it's pretty trivial to know what type of damage you're supposed to be taking. And just give your whole party, kinda, resistance to it? Awesome. So, now we're fully entrenched in protective shaman role. That's great. I'm kinda missing the Curses and Vengeance flavor, but fine, we're focused. Level 10, you get Soulbound Poppet. Poppet? Okay. Today I learned Poppet has multiple meanings and isn't just used to mock the British accent.
Hello, Poppet.
Deep breath for this one. As a magic action, you can expend a use of your wild shape to choose a creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself to create a Wicker doll that vaguely resembles the target. The doll is a tiny object and once again can be destroyed. The doll vanishes after 1 minute, or when it's reduced to 0 health. While the doll exists, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against the creature carrying the doll, and when a creature carrying the doll damages the target for the first time on a turn, the target takes an extra 2d10 necrotic damage. Ah man, I wish they'd gone full voodoo with this and made it so if the puppet takes damage, then so does the target. Oh, the broken things you could do with that. Instead, though, we get the strange, use of an entire action taking a turn off for this effect. It's fine, but you don't get bonuses to saving throws, and you become incentivized to have to use a damaging thing on a certain target every turn. This goes a bit against the previous identity of the class. This could all be avoided if you could create this in a teammate's possession. Then it's a completely different story. Unless you fancy playing hot potato though, you can't. And it's tricky to make this affect anyone other than you. This feels like it's one line of text away from a really cool feature. I just don't like the extra hoop of trying to pass this to your fighter or rogue. And that's after taking your entire first turn off combat off? Okay, there are some combats that allow you to do this beforehand. And for those, this is nuts. But they're few and far between. For the rest of the time, I want my first turn, goddammit. Alright. At level 14, you get Wicker Zenith. At the start of your turn, you can change your effigy's aura to a different one. Additionally, all the auras grow stronger in the following ways. Sacrifice. The fire damage increases to 3d8 plus your wisdom modifier. Woo! Nah, it's fine. You just won't always be able to target the opponent you want to with this, so it's hard to be truly enthralled by it. With Soothe, when you or your allies start a turn in the aura, the charmed or frightened condition ends on them. And with Ward, choose an ability. You and your allies within the aura have advantage on saving throws made with the chosen ability. Constitution! I give all my spellcasters Constitution advantage. Yeah, as if they don't already have it at level 14 in this day and age. Dexterity could be very nice for fighting some big bads with AoEs like dragons. I guess at that point, goodbye totem though? At least the option to swap is great. Probably the best part of this feature. I've always liked flexibility, and it would have been nice to have earlier, but I guess we can't have all the sweets before dinner. And just like that, it's fine. It's a solid B, I'd say. Decent spell list, cool flavor. Although it sold itself as exotic and just ended up being Banoffee. Nothing wrong with that. I like Banoffee. Banoffee. What? Oh, solid B. The totems are a mess. They come with less instructions than an IKEA knockoff from China. If you can solve the puzzle of how to use them effectively, there are some great buffs to be had. And I just know someone out there is foaming at the mouth for the Lucky Charm spell. And with that, we can finally move on from Druid. Between you and me, it's always been my favourite class. And getting 2 new subclasses to play with has made me a little bit giddy. So, drop a like, leave a subscribe, and place a kiss. I'm going to go fantasize now about becoming a tree. Catch you next time!